Hey, welcome guys. It looks like we're live here. Welcome to the live stream. I'm not sure if we're streaming yet. Yeah, it looks like we're streaming. Welcome guys to the show. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I am Rav Holly, the American Nomad, and just figured I would try to get a live stream going a little bit earlier today since I don't have a whole lot going on. I will tell you guys, we got 2 people in the room already. Hey guys, let me know who's in the room. Hit the chat down there. Let me know who's in the room. Hey Trav man and Random Nomad, 2 of my favorite live stream homies right there. Welcome guys. Good to see you guys. It's always fun, especially during these times when I'm really not seeing anybody. Oh, you're stuck in the ad. Okay, Random Nomad. Yeah, that's the part of the whole YouTube thing. Having to wait on the ads. Anyway, I just want to let you guys know I do appreciate you showing up. I've had literally no human contact with anyone, being a single guy. So this is like my I don't know what you would call it. It's like my fraternizing or whatever. This is about all I get to do to communicate with other people if it's not through just social media. This is as close as it gets. So how's everybody doing today? We're still under this lockdown here in LA. The mayor came on yesterday and basically put it in the terms of don't get your hopes up after the 2 weeks, because this lockdown here in LA may be extended on for 2 months. And he did use 2 months. So I actually think it may go longer than that, but we will see. Random Nomad, all right, you made it in the room, buddy. Good to see you. Yeah, smash that like button, guys. I appreciate that. Amba Life, we are doing great. I bet you guys are. I'm a little jealous because you guys are out there in God's country. I've already touched on this, but I'm not stuck here in LA. I mean, I could actually pick up and cruise out. But if I did that, I would be leaving my other rig here in LA. And the other thing is my office is going away. So we're not going to be able to pay the rent on this space. So I really don't know how long until I have to start moving my stuff out of this space. And then Serena, I talked to Serena last night. She's not going to be able to pay for any of this space, her office space, the warehouse, or anything. So more than likely, all of our space is going away. So I don't know. I'm probably going to have to start moving my stuff out of here the first of the month. I'm not sure. I mean, everything's in limbo. So I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to have to start moving everything out right away, or if the landlord's going to be cool and say, well, let's wait and see what happens after everybody can come back to work. I know what Serena is worried about is the simple fact that all of these other businesses are run by people that just over the border not that long ago. So they have no choice but to keep on manufacturing, if that makes sense. Because there's a stimulus package, I guess, that's been approved and coming out. A friend of mine, Brian Watts, who is also a nomad, he sent me a link to a video. I think it was Brian, or was it that you, Random Nomad? I have a couple of different friends sometimes. Anyway, I got a video about the stimulus package. So it's evidently going to be coming out. It's going to be done probably through the IRS, and it'll be done through your social security number. So if you're not legally in this country and you're not legally able to work, even if you have a driver's license, if you don't have a social security number that's legit, you're not going to be able to claim this stimulus package. You're not going to be able to claim your $1,200 check or whatever it is. So these people in this complex, in this manufacturing facility where we were, they have no choice except just to keep on working. And they've been open every day. They haven't closed. It's supposed to be in LA, just essential businesses. Like you'll probably hear there's like a metal shop. The guy's like building a railing down there right now. He was down there like 20 minutes ago with his sledgehammer pounding on a railing that he's welding together. So you might hear a lot of noise. One reason I've said this in my on my Nomad News channel, one reason I always do these kinds of things late at night is because of all the noise that we have during the day in this complex. It's a very, very noisy complex because it's everything's manufacturing in here. So anyway, but hopefully it won't be too loud. That's why I invested in this mic particularly, because it's a directional mic and it doesn't supposed to pick up all of this noise behind me. So hopefully it won't be too bad. If you hear like the sledgehammer pounding and stuff, it won't be too annoying for you guys. All right, so let's get back in the room here. We got 4 people in the room. We got 3 thumbs up. Thank you guys for smashing that thumbs up button. Let's see. Travman says, me too. I think it's going to go longer. We're still on lockdown here in Wisconsin. I think it's going to go longer. Yeah. Amba Life says they're cooking up some curry in the Instapot. Oh, man, you guys are making me jealous. I've been eating Doritos and bean dip and for it seems like weeks now. I don't really trust going out to get anything to eat. So, and I have like a camp stove in my truck that I use. Unfortunately, I use the little propane bottles, and I'm on my very last bottle. So I'm only using, I actually cooked some chili last night, or it was I don't know, kind of a poor man's nachos. I didn't have no cheese. So I just poured chili and chips in a pan and heated it up. Yeah. So not the greatest, but I'm too paranoid about going out to, trying to pick something up at a restaurant. I went a couple of days ago to a Carl's Jr., and you could walk in and get your food, but none of the people had gloves on in there. I'm like, what? Are you out of your mind? That none of them had gloves on. None of them had a mask on or anything. It was just like another day. Like everybody should be wearing like some kind of gloves if you're preparing food. This is my opinion, of course. But I think if you're working in a food facility now with everything that's going on, you should have some plastic or, those little clear rubber food gloves or something. Random Nomad says Postmates it. Yeah, I've done that before. It's hard to do Postmates when they don't like pulling up to a truck. And this place here where I'm at, it's the mailman who comes here continuously still can't find it. I will say that Amba Life, though, they found it just fine. It's an intelligence thing, I guess, because Amba Life, like we were doing a photo shoot in Serena's office, and they came into my office and just sat down, and I text them. They're like, hey, I think we're here. I came in here, and sure enough, they were sitting in the waiting area right here, my little waiting area. Okay, we got 4 people in the room. Random Nomad says it's 30 days there. So it's 30 days there in Wisconsin now. Trabman says, thank you, Random Nomad. 30 days here in Wisconsin. I think it's going to go longer. Yes, I think it's going to go longer as well. Could be wrong, but I got a sneaky feeling, guys, that this is not going to be anything soon. I've heard through the grapevine from some experts that they really think before things get back to normalcy of like what it was before this broke out, and they're talking 18 months. That's a long time, year and a half. You're an essential employee, Random Nomad? What do you do, Random Nomad? You're a mechanic, right? Or you work at a mechanic or a parts store? Can't remember. It's funny because I always wondered about coming on earlier during the day. And I would get a lot of people always, yeah, you're at a parts store, Random Nomad. That's what I thought. So I have another friend of mine that he's in a parts store as well, and they're open every day. So I guess you guys are open as well, Random Nomad. I would have never guessed that parts stores it's nice for us nomads would be considered essential businesses. But anyway, here in LA, yep, you guys are open. Yeah, my buddy Leonard, he's open as well at a parts store, and he was one of the ones that really sounded the alarm for me. You're open 7 days a week. Wow. I hope you guys should have PPE there though, Random Nomad. You should probably have N95 mask. I would think there at the parts store, right? Because people are coming in to buy paint and spray paint, so you guys should at least have masks there. I would think. You guys are open till 7:30 p.m. Oh, that's not very late. That's pretty early, actually. Parts stores here in LA are usually open till 9. Anyway, I get back to I've never streamed this early. Oh, you're all sold out. Yeah, everybody sold out of the PPE, the N95 and N99 mask. I tried to get one back in February. I couldn't get one in February. My buddy Leonard, that kind of oh, you changed the hours. Yeah, that makes sense because of the because of what's going on. So you guys are closing earlier. You probably used to close around 9 though, I would imagine. Used to be open until 10. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, so my buddy that really sounded the alarm for me last month, on February 24th, he basically sent me a message. He sent 54 of his friends a message on Facebook, and he basically said that the local hospital had just called them and were wanting to buy all of their N95 masks, their PPE, and gloves and rubber gloves. And that was February 24th. And when he told me that, he's like, if the local hospital is calling a parts store, an auto parts store to try to get this stuff. So I was like, huh, man, maybe I should start looking at this a little bit more seriously. Cause I'd been watching it in China since January, and I'd seen all of these crazy videos coming out of China with them walking around with like, it looks like a leaf blower, but it's blowing out some kind of disinfectant and it's putting out all of this crazy smoke. And, those videos were all circulating around on Twitter at the time, and I didn't think anything of it. I could have grabbed them and saved them, but I didn't think anything of it. But they are gone. You can't find any of them on Twitter now. They are all gone. And a buddy of mine, Trav, that's usually in here, Chevy Life, he actually sent me a video from an Australian that actually tried to share the videos, and they're blocked from sharing. He couldn't even share them on his phone. So what he did is he just played his phone and showed the videos. And so that has not been removed. I've got another buddy of mine, Mike, who's actually got it up and got it running, or sharing it. But it's videos it'll kind of make your hair stand up. I've seen so many of them now from China that they don't surprise me that much anymore. But I mean, like, just for instance, like one of the videos in China is like there's an old man, two old men fishing on the side of the river, right? Because what they're saying in China is right now is everything's back to normal. They're opening back up, everything's back to normal. Okay, these videos are just coming out of China. And one of them shows somebody driving down the sidewalk, and there's just dead bodies lined on the sidewalk as far as you can see. Just dead people just lined up on the sidewalk. And then another one, there's two old men that are on the side of a bank, and they're fishing, and there's a dead guy floating in the river on his back, or in the river, like 5 feet away from him, maybe 10 feet away from him, and they're just fishing away, and this dude's just floating dead in the river right there. So we don't really know what's going on in China, but I don't put any faith in anything that comes out of China. They're trying to save face right now. China is lifting the lockdown. Yeah, Random Nomad, China's lifting the lockdown on April 8th. That's exactly right. I was getting ready to say that, but you said it. But it's funny because most Americans think they've already lifted the lockdown. There's some kind of, I don't even know what it is, but there's like some kind of information that everybody in America thinks China's already they're not locked down anymore. No, they're still locked down until April 8th. The government just announced that they're going to lift it on April 8th. But I'm hearing there's still a lot of cases and new cases that are going on in China that basically China's covering up. So I'm not too happy with China. I know I know all the Democrats are blaming the Republicans, and the Republicans are blaming the Democrats. And that's just because the two just want to argue. There's nobody else here to blame but China. China is the culprit here. The reason we're all locked down is because of China. H1N1, what's that, Random Nomad? Heard. Oh, yeah. So I watched Contagion last night. Has anybody watched that? If you haven't seen Contagion, it's actually worth a watch. I'm not into those kind of partisan politics. No good. Yeah, for sure. I'm not really into the pandemic type movies. I've seen like the one with Dustin Hoffman and Cuba Gooding Jr. like a long time ago, and I didn't really think too much of it. But I'd heard several people saying that Contagion was pretty good. So I decided to actually watch it last night. Actually, this morning. I was watching like 2 or 3 o'clock this morning, and it was actually pretty good. It'll really give you It's fiction, but I watched Outbreak. That's right, Random Nomad, and I didn't care too much for Outbreak, but Contagion is actually really good, especially with all the events that are going on right now. It's like almost like a documentary or the future documentary. The crazy thing is, if you go watch Contagion, look at the date that movie was released. So it was released in 2011. That means they were filming in 2009, 2010, not sure. But they mentioned the H1N1 and then another virus or Ebola, and then this other virus that was the one in the movie, which in our times would be COVID or Rona. That's what we're going to call her. I got a new name. We're not going to call her the demon plague anymore. We're just going to call her Rona. For those of you that are in the room, if you don't know, a Random Nomad, or I keep getting off track. For those of you who don't know, you can't say the C word, the Mexican beer virus. You can't say that on YouTube. They will demonetize your video and they will shadow ban it, meaning they will stick it so far down that nobody will find it. So not that many people are going to watch this live stream after it's over, but I mean, I like it. I like it to be out there. I don't want it to be shadow banned. So I do not say the Mexican beer virus while I'm live streaming. We will refer to that Mexican beer virus as Rona. So Random Nomad says, that he's heard that the H1N1 is raising up again in China, and MERS is raising up again in China, that there's those two new outbreaks. And Random Nomad, I will tell you, in my honest opinion, I could be wrong, but I have been right about everything. I will tell you this is my opinion on those two new outbreaks of H1N1 and MERS. I think it's complete BS. I think it's absolutely BS. I don't think H1N1 is breaking out again in China. I think it's the same virus. It's the same Rona. They're just using that to, move the goalposts around. It's the same virus. H1N1 is not breaking out again. There's no reason for it to. That doesn't even make sense. You have two virus outbreaks in that short amount of time. Doesn't make sense. But I read that article as well. I read a couple articles about that as well. That there's a couple of new viruses breaking out over there. Don't believe it. I think now what I will tell you is what I would bet money on this. I don't know how much money I have in my wallet, like $120 or whatever, but I bet you all the money I had in my wallet that that China's coming hot again. That they're going to get ready. They're getting ready to experience their second wave of the Rona. I think Rona's coming back around for her second time. I think that's what's going on over there. I think they very militantly got it knocked down, and now I think they've loosened things up, and so a lot of people have went back to work, even though things are still locked down. But I think it's coming back around. I think it's popping back up again for a second wave. The same thing, with the Spanish flu, 3 waves of the Spanish flu. I think it'll happen here as well. I think we're going to have this big blow up first wave, and then they're going to get it under control. And as we stay inside, after it peaks, it'll start going back down. And then people are going to be letting their guard down a little bit, and they're going to go back outside, and somebody else is going to be infected, and it's going to start it back up again. But it'll be a slower wave that hopefully won't be as bad, and then could even get a third wave. That's the way the Spanish flu was, and the third wave wasn't near as bad. So Random Nomad says COVID-19 is mutating. I don't know if I believe that. I think it's still the same strain. I mean, if it mutates that much, then it will. They'd name it a different virus. But I will say there's a lot of people with a lot of different symptoms, which is kind of crazy. Because, if you read the symptoms of the common cold or the flu or whatever, it's pretty much the same symptoms. Hey, Amy, what's up? Amy Preston, good to see you. Oh, glad you caught me this time too, Amy. Travman says, yep, that's what I said last live stream. I think we're going to have waves of it. Yep, Travman, I agree. I'm kind of rehashing the same stuff, I guess, but Yeah, I think there's going to be more waves than one, and I think we're in this for a long haul. I don't think it's going to be over anytime soon. I wished it was, but I don't think it is. I think it's going to be a while before we get back to everyday life like we knew it before. Travman says, well, I heard that they found 2 different strains of it now. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last time. My buddy from Chevy Life, Trav, he actually said that. So basically what they've said in China, I read this like back in the beginning of February, that China and so it's not a proven thing, but what some of the doctors in China think, or some of the biologists or whatever, is they think there's 2 different strains of the virus. They think there's a S strain and an L strain, and one is way more potent than the other one. So I think the S one is the one that won't make you so sick, but the L strain will make you really sick, is what they're saying. I don't know if I believe that, and it's not been proven, because what it actually may be is just people. Another theory is people are more susceptible of it because it's whatever type, whatever their blood type is and stuff. We talked about that the last time. Let's see, Random Nomad. Not enough to change it, but its genetics are slightly changing. There's a article about it changing. Yeah, there's several articles about it changing, Random Nomad. But the main thing is it's like the flu. I mean, the common flu. The flu's been around for how many years? Oh, I know what I really wanted to talk about. So this is one thing I'm going to touch on. So the conspiracy theory. I get to rambling. That's my problem with these live streams. I ramble. I get to rambling, and I don't forget the topics I wanted to talk about, and I mean to write them down, and I never write them down. But the main thing I wanted to talk about is I have a lot of friends of mine that are conspiracy theorists. I'm a conspiracy theorist, depending on the conspiracy theory. There's been a lot of conspiracy theories that have actually, came out to be true in the long run. So I enjoy conspiracy theory. Hey, Mr. Chris Hawley, my brother from another mother. Look at there, buddy. Good to see you. So Chris Hawley is one of my good Facebook friends. Everybody thinks we're related because we have the exact same last name, but we're actually not blood related. But he's one of my good friends. CG, hey buddy, what's up, CG? Good to see you. Get some new people in the room. That's cool. Yeah. So anyway, Chris Hawley, one of my other conspiracy theory friends. So yeah, there's a lot of people that believe that think they're going to have that the deep state has released this virus, or China released the virus to bring down our economy. And I think there's more to what we're being told. I don't know that I believe that this all originated from some guy that bought a bat in a exotic pet food market in China. I don't know that I believe that. I actually think that actually could be a cover story for something else that went on. I don't know that I believe that about the live exotic animal market, that it got into a bat, and then it got into a pendling. How do you say it? The little, looks like an anteater. That's the official story. Yeah, wet market. Thank you, Random Nomad. Wet market. I'm not sure that I believe that. Random Nomad says the Spanish flu only seemed to hit 18 to 25-year-olds, where this virus doesn't seem to have any age. You're exactly right, Random Nomad. And the problem that makes me so irritated is the media and the press immediately came out with this theory that it only really affected old people, and that's given young people in this country so much false sense of security. There's a young man who is like he's a collegiate athlete. He's 26 years old, and he's on a ventilator right now. He's almost dead. His parents are sending out for some kind of experimental medication or experimental things to try to save him, as a last ditch effort to save him. He's never smoked. He's never done anything. He's been an athlete, strict dietitian his entire life. And he probably is not, it doesn't sound like he's going to make it. Every time I watch an interview with his parents or read anything about him, it doesn't sound like he's going to make it. Amba Life, hey Rav, do you know why YT is demonetizing over the mention of Rona? I have absolutely no idea. The only thing I can think of, Amba Life, is I believe it probably comes to it probably comes down to the fact of all of the misinformation, because anybody can get on YouTube and act like an expert. You know, I can get on YouTube. I could put a nice shirt on and a tie with a nice background with a bookcase, and I could start telling you guys I'm a YouTube expert, and I could start giving you my own conspiracy theory about the Rona. So I think that's why YouTube just demonetizes and shadow bans all of the videos. But what makes me so mad is because it's not fair, because they don't do it with the mainstream media. Like if you're CNN or Fox or any of the mainstream media sites, even I think like the Young Turks, I don't even think they get shadow banned. The Young Turks, you know, I don't think they get, you know, I think, you know, because you look at their titles and it says Rona right in the titles of their videos. If I do that, that's why, if you've noticed, guys, when you look at my videos, the last two or three, is because every one of my videos, I literally just say American Nomad Livestream, because the last one that I titled, I don't know if I can go back. Let me see if I can go back here. The last video that I put a title on, let's see which one it is. Let's see if I can come in here, guys. Bear with me. But the last video that I put a title on, I don't remember what the title was. That's why I'm going to go to I want to go here and see what the title of it was. Okay, so I named it LA Lockdown for a Full-Time Van Dweller. I didn't discuss anything. I never mentioned Rona by name. I said the same thing I'm saying now. Didn't mention anything, but because of that title, LA Lockdown for a Full-Time Van Dweller, that video has been completely demonetized and shadow banned. You can't, nobody, it doesn't go out anywhere. Nobody sees it, anything, except for the original people that watched it when it first came out. But it's completely demonetized. And I actually, if your video gets demonetized, you can ask for, if you don't agree with that, you can ask YouTube to have an actual person go in and watch your video and, you know, and see. And I put in the thing to have them. I'm like, no, there's nothing in this video. And so I put that I disagreed with it. And then I got a thing back like the next day that said, nope, we watched your video and we agree with our original assessment. It's demonetized. So the last three videos I've done, including this one, I just named them American Nomad Livestream and the date. And so far, not one of them has been demonetized. And then the other one, before the LA lockdown, I put, let's see, which one was, end of the world photo shoot with Serena, which is nothing but me and Serena doing a photo shoot. That one was demonetized as well. So YouTube is getting really, really, really strict. And I think part of it is because, you know, they're still issuing us checks. So the more videos that they demonetize and the more videos they find something wrong with, the less people they have to pay for their work. Is the only thing I can think of. I mean, that is literally the only thing I can think of. Oh man, we got 9 people in the room. Welcome everybody. Oh, Yvette, what's up? Yvette S, what is up? Yeah, so anyway, back to the conspiracy theory of that. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit, or I wanted to also talk about, I wanted to talk about the fact that there's a lot of people out there, and even our government are talking about there's going to be a vaccine any day. And for me, it just goes right back to what they were saying during the H1N1 outbreak in 2015. Every single day, even Obama, there's sound bites where you can find Obama saying, our scientists are working on it. They're telling me that we're testing now, and we should have a vaccine any day for the H1N1. That was 5 years ago, guys. There's still no virus. There's still no vaccine for the H1N1 virus. There's no vaccine for it. And if you think about it, think about those of us that have watched Contagion. What are the viruses listed in that movie? H1N1, Ebola, and then this crazy made up fictional virus that was killing everybody in the movie. But let's take H1N1 and let's take Ebola, the Ebola virus. Is there a vaccine for any one of those viruses? Now, remember, Obama and everybody was promising us. I'm not blaming Obama because he was just the face of, who was being, put out there on the, on the podium, just like Trump is now, to talk about and rest everybody's fears. But let's talk about the science community, and let's talk about everybody back during the H1N1 in 2015. They were telling us any day they were going to have a vaccine for the H1N1 virus. That was 5 years ago. To date, there is still no vaccine for the H1N1 virus. If it does break out again in China, or it breaks out wherever it breaks out, there's no vaccine for it. That was 5 years ago. So what makes anybody think that they're going to be able to engineer a vaccine on a virus that was only named and recognized, and they put the genome to it in January? It's not going to happen. It could happen. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. I mean, we could have hope, but I wouldn't bet on it. If I had to bet in Vegas, I would bet against it. If somebody told me you got to bet your Snap-on truck, we have a virus by the end of the year to cure the Rona, I would bet against it. I would say, no, there's no way. I don't see it happening. There's a 5-year-old with it now. Yes, there's a lot of children and young people that have it. I was reading that 50% of the people in Spain. You're not hearing much about Spain because all we're hearing about is Italy. Now, Italy has a very old population. I guess one of the second or third oldest populations in the world. I was saying it was the oldest, but I guess maybe Japan has an older population. I'm not sure. But anyway, they have one of the oldest populations in the world. That's why it's so deadly in Italy. But in Spain, over 50% of the Rona cases are people that are 40 and under. Chris Hawley says they are saying that a test is coming out, but it will be 70% accurate. But I think they are going to cook it to make sure that all have the vaccine. Let's see. Chris Hawley, a mandatory vaccine is frightening. It's a frightening thing. Yeah. And, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I don't believe there's a vaccine coming. I don't believe they'll have a vaccine for, I don't know if they'll ever have a vaccine, Chris Hawley. Random Nomad says, I guess there's something circulating around saying Obama is the reason why we don't have a stockpile of masks and PPE equipment. I don't know about that. It's just, it's like anything else. If we had a whole stockpile of it, then nothing had ever happened. It's the way it always goes. I mean, if let's say Obama, you can't really blame him for that, because let's say Obama was, now don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of Obama, but let's say that, he, took a retired hangar somewhere in, Area 51 and stocked it with, 20 million N95 mask and gloves and everything else. If he had done that, that stuff would have sat there and ruined, because it would have never had anything happen. A quarter of the population is over 70. 3/4 of the population. Yes, Chris Hawley, in Italy. And Chris, where are you at, Chris? You're in France. I always forget where you're at. You're originally from the UK, correct? But you live in France now, I believe. Yes, there's a shelf life on that stuff. Rubber gloves. Here's something to think about. So back in the day, I bought a big box of those black latex rubber gloves that you use as a mechanic. That's what I bought them for, to use them as a mechanic when I changed my oil and did those kind of things. They're the exact same type of rubber gloves you see like at the doctor's office, except the ones that they use are blue. and the ones that the mechanics use are chemical. They're chemical resistant, so oil and stuff doesn't ruin them, which they do. The blue ones, the basically the fingers just tear open if you get like any kind of oil or anything on the blue ones, like the medical ones. So but the black ones are just a little bit, they're the same, they're just a little bit better quality, so solvents and stuff doesn't ruin them because mechanics use them. So I bought a whole box of those gloves, and I think it was 30 or 40 bucks, maybe more. Maybe it's 60 or 70 bucks. I can't remember, but it wasn't like 15 bucks. They weren't cheap. And I put them in the under the side toolbox, undercarriage box of Bertha, my old RV. And I'm like, well, they'll be there when I'm ready to change my oil. And I didn't really think about the elements as the cold, the freezing cold, and then the 100-degree heat out in the desert, in California. And I used maybe 2 or 3 pairs of the gloves out of there, and I took them out one time when I was changing my oil. I pulled them out to pull some of the gloves out to use, and they were all basically cauterized together. They had all just kind of melted together. That ruined, the whole box was ruined. Okay, so Chris, you're in South Wales. Okay, wish I was in France. So how are things going over there in the UK then? I don't know why I thought you were in France. I knew you were in the UK at one time, but I thought maybe you were in France now. I wish I was in France. I used to holiday in France a lot. Okay. So how are things going in South Wales? Because I know for a while over there in the UK, you guys, your prime minister over there was not even, you guys were doing a thing called nudge theory, where they were basically going to leave it up to the population. They were going to close any businesses. They weren't going to close the malls. They weren't going to tell anybody to stay at home or shelter in place or any of that stuff. Everybody was just going to go about their business and do everything as usual. And they were just going to leave it up to the individual not to get sick. Chris says everyone's on lockdown. I'm glad to hear that now, because I was a little bit worried about it. Amy Preston says the chemical resistant gloves are nitrile. Latex is not a chemical resistant, but help with germs. Nitrile is way better. Yes. And Amy, if I'm not mistaken, in the military, you did biological chemical weapon type things. Am I way off on that? Herd immunity. Yes, Chris Holly. That was what they were going to practice in the UK, but now they've decided to go along with the rest of the world and not use the nudge theory. They actually ordered everybody to lock down. So yeah, my friend Amy Preston that's in the room here, she worked in biochemical weapons in the military when she was in the military. So when she talks about stuff, I listen to her a lot. She has a lot of knowledge, just like the gloves that I wasn't sure of the exact difference in the gloves, and she's laid it right out there in the room. You can read her response. Do you think we will all eventually get the Rona? Detox D. So here's something there's 8 people in the room. My buddy Jeff could be in the room. I don't think he's in the room. I don't know if he'll watch this, but I will say this. Yes, thank you for your service, Amy. Thank you. I will say this. The random nomad said that as well. Thank you for your service, Amy. So I will say this about the virus. Okay. So, those of you that follow me on my Facebook page know that I've been doing like a news bulletin, posting pertinent information that I think people would probably want to know about the Rona. And I've taken a lot of heat from the nomad community, which is kind of crazy, but I mean, there's some crazy nomads. So I've taken a lot of heat. I know there's 2 or 3 nomads that's very upset with me. They've messaged me and telling me to get off Facebook and I shouldn't be on Facebook and I'm just scaring people. And then I've got 2 or 3 conservative friends, 2 in particular, that were just hammering me for the last 2.5, 3 weeks. And one was my buddy Mike and another one was my buddy Jeff. Love both those guys to death, They are both actually personal friends of mine. I know both of them. I've known Jeff for several years, and he's a great, great guy. We're both Harley Davidson guys. He owns like a very nice Harley repair shop up in Wyoming. Great guy. But him and I were both like butting heads on this thing because I was telling people to take it seriously. And, you know, those guys were like, oh, this is just a Democratic conspiracy to take Trump down or to crash our economy. And, you know, this thing. And basically what Jeff kept saying, every time I'd post something, he would post the statistics of the flu. So if I said, oh, this, you know, be careful of this, and he'd just post, the flu killed so many people. So he just kept doing this over and over and over. And him and I we were really clashing heads. And then the last couple of days, I hadn't heard much from him. He got pretty quiet. Like I could post stuff and he wasn't, you know, busting my chops about it. You know, he was just leaving me alone. So I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, with all the information that's coming out, he's finally starting to come around to my way of thinking that, yeah, he should probably take this seriously, that, it is actually serious. It's not just another flu, or not even as bad as the flu, which is the way he had put it. This is not going to be even as bad as the flu. So last night, that video that I told you guys, the China video with all of the latest videos coming out in China, which are bad, they're banned. You can't even share them I can't even try to share them. If you try to share them, they immediately get deleted from Facebook. So Facebook's got some kind of algorithm out there that catches these China videos and bans them. But with this one, what the guy did is he held his phone and he lets you watch the video from his phone. So the algorithm can't catch that. So I've been able to share that video with a bunch of my best friends. Chris Hawley was one of them. And several of my really good friends. I was able to share this video, that some of the latest videos coming out of China. And I sent it to my buddy Jeff, that's been just hammering me. And, like last week, I said something about you guys need to be careful, whatever. And he's like, hey, man, just live your life. I'm headed to the bar. And then underneath in the comments, he like posted a picture of his beer and said, cheers. And I was like, okay, dude. And I'm thinking, well, my buddy Jeff lives in like a log cabin house in the middle of BFE, Wyoming. If you don't know what BFE, Wyoming, or BFE stands for, it's Bum Egypt, like in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming. So I'm like, well, this dude, Jeff, he can say anything he wants to say, because out of all the people that I know that's going to get it, he'll be the last one that gets it, because he's so isolated up there in the middle of freaking Wyoming by himself. He's literally a single guy up there in this huge house by himself. He's not going to get it. So he can talk all the smack to me he wants and make me look like an idiot. That's absolutely fine. Nobody's going to know that but me, because I know where he lives. So that's probably why he's so confident and busted my balls about this, because he knows he's up there in God's country and there's nobody out there with him. So he's not going to get it like the rest of us that are in these metropolitan areas. So when I sent him that Chinese video last night, he sent me back a message, and then is like WTF, because he watched it and it's pretty shocking. And he sent me WTF. And I said, yeah, man. I said, let me tell you, that's just the tip of the iceberg from the videos I've seen. And then he let me know, well, I've tested positive for Rona. I'm positive with Rona. And my fever just broke a few minutes ago, but I am sick with the Rona. I was like, are you serious? I thought he was pulling my chain for a minute. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Yes. In the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, he's my second friend that is positive for Rona. And I asked him, I'm like, are you just sick? Or, are you just sick and think think it's Rona? Maybe you have the flu? He goes, no, man. He goes, one of my best friends up here in Wyoming is the head of the medical system here. He's a doctor, and he brought me in right away and had me tested, and I am positive for Rona. So you probably seen him. My people that are on my Facebook page, you saw me and him arguing for the last 2 weeks. He's the guy, if you looked at his avatar or his profile picture, it's the back of him in a cowboy hat sitting on a horse in Wyoming. But he's sick. He's very, very sick. And I went, And I didn't rub it in his face. I didn't try to rub it in his face or anything like that and go, "Oh, I told you so," which I could, but I didn't, because that's not going to help anything. I mean, it's a hard lesson to learn. You know what I mean? And I could have been wrong on this. I could have been wrong. I've been right on it, but people that know me very well know I have a very good gut instinct. And people that have been around me for long enough, they go, when I say something, they'll listen to me. Cause I've had people go, nah, not going to happen. Not going to happen. I'm like, I don't know, man. I kind of think it might. And sure enough, and I can tell you on February 24th, right here, I was sitting right here and I got up. I was watching and reading some of the stuff in China. My buddy Leonard had talked about the PPE, the hospital trying to call his auto parts store to get masks, and that kind of freaked me out. And that was the thing that really made me sit up and take it seriously, because even all of these videos I'd seen in China, I'm not going to say I didn't take them seriously, but I'm like, that's in China. You know what I mean? That's not going to be here. And even if it comes here, it's not going to be like it is in China, because we're going to be more prepared to deal with it. I guess that was my mentality, because I was watching these horrific videos in China. And one of the most horrific videos I saw, now I saw dead people laying on the sidewalk. I saw people holding their groceries, waiting to cross the street and just face planting on the street, dying, dead, not even catching themselves, just falling over, boom, dead. So I saw all of these videos all the way back to January coming out of China. The most haunting video still to me today that I've seen was a video that was posted on Twitter of somebody they were in these high-rise apartment buildings, and they were probably up on the 30th, 40th floor of these huge high-rise apartment buildings. And somebody is looking out the window, holding their phone out the window. And the apartment building right across from them, which is probably maybe 20 yards, 30 yards. It's a ways. I mean, if you threw a football, I don't know if you could hit it. It's a ways, but it's not so far away that you can't really see what's going on there. It's kind of like being in a hotel and there's another hotel beside you. You can just see everything that's going on over there. That's the way this was. And it's at night. And there's a little girl on the patio about this, like right at the same eye level as this people that are holding their phone out the window or off their patio, recording from this building here. And there's a little girl on the patio and it's just echoing throughout the night. And all she's doing is she's sitting there and she's going, "Hey, is anyone there? Can anyone help me? My mama's sick. My mommy's sick. Can anyone help me?" And it's the, what do you call it? I mean, she's saying it in Chinese, but the captions are telling you what she's saying. And she's saying, "My mommy's dying. Can somebody come and help?" And she's just over and over and over. And it's just dead silence everywhere else. It's the only thing you hear is just her calling out into the night. And that video I watched probably around February the 3rd or 4th, 5th, somewhere around there, when you very first started hearing about this stuff. And for some reason, that video has really stuck with me. Yeah, the subtitles, Leah. Hey, Leah Nortz, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, so out of all the death and destruction videos I've seen in China, that one was the one that struck a chord with me the most. And I've seen videos of them welding people's doors shut. Like if you're tested positive, or if you won't come out, if you're sick and you won't come out and get tested in China, they were welding your door shut on your apartment where you couldn't get out. Random Nomad says, I had Facebook take down a few of my posts only to put them back up. Yes, I had that too. So what was going on with that, Random Nomad, was so Facebook tried to get ahead of this Rona thing. So they put their algorithm into overdrive. So one day, I know every single post I made, they kept marking it as spam. It had nothing to do with spam, but it would say, nobody can see your post, but you, because your post doesn't follow our guidelines, it's been determined it's spam. And I'm like, what? So you just put in for that same thing as YouTube to have them actually look at the look at the video or your post, and then they would deem it was fine. It would come back and say, oh, your post it doesn't break our guidelines, so they put it up there. Detox D said, did you hear what Kim Jong-un said? If someone were to test positive, that they would shoot them? Yes. I actually heard that happened. And I've also heard that has happened in China. I do know that there's a lot of people that tested positive in China and were told to go home and quarantine themselves, go on self-quarantine, or they were sick. And the China government came out and forcefully removed. I've seen these videos. They forcefully removed them. Like one was a couple. One was a couple, and they were in their underwear. Like the man was in his underwear and the woman was in her panties. And like 5 or 6 people in hazmat suits, those white hazmat suits and everything, went in and grabbed them and forcefully removed them from their house just in their underwear and carried them out like like a sack of potatoes, like by the feet and by the arms, and carried them out and threw them in a van, one of those little, look like a Vanagon, those little VW or Toyota type vans that they have as ambulances. But it wasn't an ambulance, it was just like a transport van. And I've also seen videos of people in hazmat suits chasing people down, and with police shooting up in the air and people scattering. And those people in hazmat suits just coming at them and chasing them down. And yeah, it's pretty wild, the stuff that's going on over there. Amy Preston says, a lot of the issues you discuss are in line with possibilities that could be implemented from town size areas to our global infrastructure. Yes, I agree. Why isn't Russian been hit so hard? Why hasn't really, Leonort says, why hasn't Russia been hit so hard with the virus? Think about it. So the reason Russia hasn't been hit so hard with this virus is the same reason Mexico hasn't been hit so hard with this virus. They're not testing. They don't have any tests. They don't have the facilities. They don't have the stuff. So I'm sure there's thousands of people that are sick in Russia, and they're just leaving them to their own devices. They're not trying to stop the pandemic or anything. I mean, think about the wars. I mean, think about the Stalin War. Millions of people died. Like millions of people starved to death. They don't care. That's a communist government. Same thing's going on in China. What I was talking about, those people that are getting drug out of their houses that I was telling you about, that were sick and refused to leave their house, so the government come and forcibly remove them from their house. Their neighbors have never seen them again. They don't even know if they had the Rona, but they've just disappeared. They're gone. Chris Holly says, will be the same in the UK then. Yes. Yeah, so Russia will get hit hard. So will Mexico and all of these other little countries. But the problem is think about it. We're having a hard time here in the United States having enough tests. We're one of the most advanced countries in the world, and we don't have enough tests. And if we don't have enough tests, how do you think Mexico's going to have tests? How do you think Russia's going to have tests? They don't have any tests at all. Doesn't mean they don't have sick people. I can tell you right here in the United States, this is for a fact. You can take this to the bank. There are thousands and thousands more people that have the Rona that don't even know it and have not been tested and are just walking around, spreading around to everybody else that have not been tested. Chris Hawley says, yep, the UK, no test available at the moment. Yeah. So, I mean, there's no way to know exactly what these numbers are. So whatever the numbers are about the death rate and the people that have them, you can literally probably double it. Detox D, do you think there will be a vaccine? So before you got into the room, I had actually discussed that in some detail because there is a lot of people, and there's a conspiracy theory going around out there how the government, the deep state government has this vaccine that was already created. That's they've already have it for the Rona, and then they released the Rona so they could release this vaccine and force everybody to take this vaccine. And this is what I already discussed this, so I'm just going to go through it really quick. But think about the H1N1 outbreak of 2015. The government, every world government that was in charge of that outbreak, and every disease center like the CDC and the WHO, everybody, they said that they were going to have a vaccine any day. They were testing. They were already doing testing. They were going to have something for the public any day for the H1N1 in 2015. Now think about that. It's 5 years later, 5 long years later since the H1N1 outbreak. They still have no vaccine for the H1N1. If the H1N1, if it was to reemerge tomorrow, they have no vaccine for it. So here's something else to think about. Think about the movie Contagion that we were just talking about. That movie was filmed in 2010, I believe, released in 2011, and it shows the H1N1 in that movie, and it shows the Ebola virus in that movie, and then this made-up fictional virus that kills everybody that's 80% fatal in the movie. Okay, but Ebola is a real virus. H1N1 is a real virus. How many vaccines do we have for those two today? And that was 2010. So 10 years ago, they knew about the H1N1. They've known about H1N1 for years. There's no vaccine today. So how are they going to make a vaccine? Now, the other thing you guys got to understand, I keep seeing with the Rona, that word, the Ronavirus, has been around. The Mexican beer Ronavirus, that has been around for decades. That's why, like the old Lysol cans from back in the day, if you read the back of it, it would say Lysol is been proven to be effective for disinfecting the human coronavirus. Yeah. So that has been around for years. But what people fail to realize is the COVID-19 is a brand new strain. It's got the longer name. I can never remember the longer name, but the longer name is it's a brand new strain that they just were able to identify and name in January. And I'm sure Amy can be able to, attest to what I'm saying, because she's very much more proficient in talking about this stuff than I am. But yeah, I would not hold my breath for a vaccine. I don't think they will ever have a vaccine. I don't know if they'll ever have a vaccine. I think a lot of times we get lucky with these vaccines, like the polio vaccine and these different vaccines. Think about the Spanish flu. If the Spanish flu was way more deadly than Rona, there's no vaccine for the Spanish flu. It just kind of went away. That it really irritates me, because when they talk about these vaccines, and Trump is doing that on the daily, he's talking about these vaccines, he's talking about these medications, the malaria medication. Nobody knows if that stuff's going to work, and nobody knows if there will ever be a vaccine. So I think it's a false sense of security. It's false hope to be talking about these vaccines unless they're about 80 or 90% sure they've got something. If something's already in testing and they're ready to go with it, yeah, tell us about a vaccine. But don't give us false hope about there's a vaccine when there's not a vaccine. I can tell you right now. So let's look at it like this. So if there was a vaccine, if they were to invent a vaccine today and they know it works, that vaccine has still got to be tested on animals. It's still got to be tested on monkeys, or it's still got to be tested on animals. It's still got to be tested. That testing, and before they would be ready for production, could be 2 years. It could be 2 years. Even if they invented a vaccine today, it could be 2 years before it's out there for the public to take. So if you watch the movie Contagion, that's what they did. That's what saved everybody, was this miracle vaccine at the end of it. That miracle vaccine is not coming for us for Rona. I could almost bet you money it's not. Now, we all like to have hope. I don't like to be a buzzkill, but I just don't want anybody to get their hopes up about there's a vaccine coming for us any day now. I just don't think so. Think about the common flu. How long have the flu been out? Years. The flu's been around for years. We all know about the flu. It's a part of our everyday life. Somebody we know has always got the flu or is just getting over the flu. The flu's been out for years. How long did it take before they got a flu vaccine out there? I remember maybe 15, 20 years ago, maybe, if that. But the flu had been around since ever. It took them forever to come up with a flu vaccine. And I know people that take the flu vaccine and then they get sick with the flu during flu season. Random Nomad says it killed one person with the malaria medication. Yeah, let's talk about that right quick. So they're talking, if you don't know, there was a couple in Arizona. They're not naming them. They're keeping their identity anonymous. But so Trump was talking about the chlorophene or whatever it was. I'm not even sure what that was or how to pronounce it. But it's medication that they use for malaria in tablet form. So I've known people that's gotten malaria while they've been, hey, Nomad and Broken, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, bro. So I've known people that have gotten malaria while they were traveling, like in Brazil and, these, through these wet jungle areas in the world, and they come down with malaria. It happens over there a lot. And when it happens, they do have this pill form of this chlorophene or whatever it is, chlorocliptamine or whatever it is. And you take it in pill form and it knocks malaria out. And malaria is supposed to be pretty bad, but this stuff knocks malaria out. And so some of these experts have said that they think it might work. It might work with the Rona. So this couple in Arizona, these rocket scientists in Arizona, it sounded like an older couple, so I don't want to throw them under the bus too much. But basically, you can find this chlorocliptamine name on the back of this fish for koi fish that have parasites, and you put it in your koi pond, and it will kill if the fish are swimming in the koi pond, you put the drops in the koi pond, and if your koi fish are infected with parasites, it will kill the parasites in the koi fish. Is basically what this is. It's a poison, is what it is. And these two rocket scientists in Arizona decided that was the malaria medication because they have the very same name. The chlorocliptamine or whatever, it's the exact same name it is literally the exact same name as the malaria medication, except for the simple fact is there's a dash. There's a hyphen or whatever, or a dash in between the one that goes on the fish koi pond medication. But so that's the only difference, but they're spelt the same. It's named the same. It's all the same. So you can understand how those people got confused. But anyway, they ingested this stuff that is to kill the parasites in the koi fish, and the man died. He died. And the wife is still in the ICU. And they did an interview, and you could listen to the media, whoever the media person was, like CNN or MSNBC or whatever, just, well, I know you took this medication because Trump was talking about it, right? This is the reason your husband's dead, right? Because it was Trump that was talking. You heard Trump talking about it a lot. He was talking about it a lot, right? And the lady's like, yeah, he was talking about it a lot. So they were doing everything they could to blame Trump for these two morons using the koi pond fish parasite killer to keep them Rona free. And it's sad. I mean, there's somebody's grandparents, there's somebody's dad, mother. But I mean, it's hard for me to have sympathy for stuff like that, because it's almost just like it's cleaning the gene pool. You know what I mean? It's cleaning out the gene pool. If you were that dumb, I mean, if it was me, I picked it up and I was like, oh, that's the same stuff that Trump's talking about. I better ask somebody. I better call my doctor, or I bet there's a forum or something on the internet. I'd do something. If you're old and you don't know and you don't know how to use the internet, I better call my son or something, because maybe he could help me. No, they just took it. And it killed the guy. So I just, it's a sad story, but I mean, if you're that damn dumb, then not a whole lot. This, let's see, Travman, the mother that worked at the hospital worked in the U.S. and she died from the C-19. I don't know what that one is. I missed that one. Oh, okay, yeah, that was sad. Yeah, that was sad. There was also a mother that had 6 kids, and she had just survived cancer. She had cancer, and she'd been battling cancer for like 3, 4, 5 years. She survived cancer. She was a cancer survivor, and she gets knocked out by Rona. Rona kills her. Good to see you, Nomad Unbroken. How you doing, buddy? How's your day going? Okay, Chris Holly says, "What's the stuff Trump's ordering for everyone?" That I don't know yet. I think that's probably the malaria medication is the malaria medication is the stuff that the hydrochloroquine or whatever it is. That's the stuff I've heard that they've had the best success with. But I mean, that could just be because somebody is recovering. Somebody takes it and they're recovering. Who knows? Chloroquine, yeah, chloroquine, or something like that. Chris Holly. It's been a great day, bro. How are you? Random, Nomad Unbroken, I'm doing great, man. I'm so glad to see you in the room. We got 10 people in the room. We've had 5 people smash that thumbs up button. If you hadn't hit that thumbs up button, guys, it's free to do it, and I appreciate it. So if you want to hit that thumbs up button, I do appreciate it. Not mandatory though, guys. Not mandatory. Man, we've already been going an hour on this thing. So I started a little bit earlier. It's 4:30 now. And I started a little bit earlier, so I'm just going to stay with it for a little bit longer while we have people in the room. I'm not going to just cut it off at an hour. I had a lot of friends of mine that basically told me when I first started doing these live streams not to do it over an hour, because there's a lot of people that want to they want to rewatch the live stream. If they miss the live stream, they want to watch the rebroadcast of it. And so a lot of times I've been cut. They say, don't do it for longer than an hour, because nobody wants to watch one that's longer than an hour. And I don't know how many people watch it afterwards anyway. Nomad Unbroken says, "Yep, I forgot. Thanks for reminding." Done. Yeah, thank you guys. We've got 8 thumbs up now. I appreciate that, guys. So back to your question, Detox D. My gut instinct tells me they won't have a vaccine for this. Hey, driving home, Lamont, good to see you, brother. How you doing? Where are you at today driving home? If you don't know who Lamont is driving home, he just entered the room. He's a good friend of mine. We hung out for days at RTR this year and Schoolie Palooza. He's got a really cool little Ford box truck that's his full-time home. He's actually, oh my God, dude, you're going to New Orleans? That's not a good place to be, brother. It's a hot spot right now, Louisiana. Take care of yourself. Stay in your truck. So Lamont from Driving Home, he is a full-time nomad, but he's also one of our truck drivers. So big thank you to Lamont. These guys are keeping the supply chains going right now. I did a post about a week ago on my Facebook page saying that, it's not the professional sports athletes, it's not the celebrities, it's not the stars that are the superstars right now. It's the truck drivers, because the truck drivers are literally keeping us afloat. I mean, these idiots that are ransacking the stores, buying everything up and hoarding everything, it's the truck drivers that are bringing the stuff to restock that. If the truck drivers stop, we're in big trouble. My buddy Chris Holly said, okay, you'll be in and out driving home. That's good to hear, because I have some people around Baton Rouge and New Orleans, and they're saying it's getting really bad overnight there in that area. Just be careful getting in and out of there, buddy. Chris Holly says, I got a Ford Transit van now. The Black Beast kitted out as a camper. Nice. You need to post some pictures of that, man. I'd like to see it, Chris Holly. I just want to say that the person that's got the best last name in the room is my buddy Chris Hawley. And if you don't know, it's because we share the exact same name. Random Nomad says, wait a minute. Nomad and Brooke says, driving home need to make a banner, bro. Random Nomad says, speaking of that on celebrities, why are they not putting money out to help with this? There are a lot of celebrities that are. I know a lot of people don't realize that, like Joe Rogan and them from the Joe Rogan podcast, all the comedians, they've taken up a fundraiser and they are raising money for people at the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory, the people that work there. We're talking about the waitresses and the door guys and those people that are completely out of work with no money. So there's a lot of celebrities that are doing things. My thing is, why aren't the world billionaires? Why aren't they doing something? Why isn't Bill Gates doing something? Why isn't Jeff Bezos doing something? Why isn't what's the old man and that's so rich? That Bert Hathaway. Oh God, what is his name? Everybody knows who he is. He still lives in like the same house he's lived in like 20 years. He's one of the richest men in the world. If all the billionaires got together right now and put in a couple of billion apiece, that would go a long way. 10 billion would go a long way right now in helping out with things. Detox D says, so basically this will eventually die out, Rona night. Yes, that's exactly what I think will happen, is just like the Spanish flu. I think eventually it'll just die out. I hope that's what happens, because if it doesn't, then it means it's going to be around forever, like the flu. It means it'll pop up every flu. You know, it's we have what we call a flu season. Even though you can get flu any time of the year, we have a time of year that we consider the flu season. And we really don't want Rona to be that kind of like the flu. So I guess, Lamont, you don't have a banner on your YouTube page, brother? I thought you did. I've watched your videos. I didn't remember you not having a banner. But anyway, Nomad Unbroken says he can probably hook you up with a banner. So you guys might want to talk after we get out of here and see if you can figure that one out. Random Nomad Rona. Yep. So we got 9 people in the room and 8 thumbs up. Awesome. So how's everybody doing with the stir crazy thing? I am, thank goodness for this. If it wasn't for this, I'd probably, because it gives me something really to look forward to do this. Because I feel like I'm, even though I don't see you guys, I see what you're typing, and it makes me feel like I'm like in a room full of people, actual room full of people, and having some communication instead of just being doing my own thing. And I'm so happy I got this set up, because I literally just kind of pieced all this live streaming thing together after my buddy Paul Barger, the bread trucker, told me I should do some live streaming, and I started looking into it. And like everybody that I know pretty much just uses their phone. They just live stream on their phone. And I may start doing some live streams from my truck on my phone as well, because I know all my buddies, like my buddy Nomad Unbroken, he live streams all the time, and he does it from his rig. So I might do some stuff like that. But the reason I set this thing up here in my studio office is because I literally do want to move over to Switch. I want to be able to stream on Switch, because they stream over there for hours. Like I was watching a couple of streams like last night, and they had been streaming for like 3.5, 4 hours. There's no time limit over there. And I went in this one room, and this guy was just sitting there talking like I am, but like he didn't even have a shirt on, like his fat belly was hanging out, and he's just sitting there talking, and the room was packed. There was like 60, 70, 80 people in there. I was like, holy mackerel. Yeah, Twitch, not Switch, Twitch. And there's another one now. I guess Microsoft has, what is the Microsoft streaming service? like the biggest streamer from Twitch just moved over to it. It starts with an M. Can't think of what it's called, but it's owned by Microsoft. But yeah, anyway, I'm a gamer for you guys that don't know. I know I'm way old, but I have a gaming PC here that's an Alienware, and I built this entire setup to game because I game at night after I get through with this stuff and I'm through with everything. I play Warface, which is my favorite game right now. And I'll play Warface for 2 or 3 hours. Random Nomad goes, it's for gamers more, or was originally. Yeah, it's still more for gamers. But there is just a lot of people on there that's freaking just talking. Chris Holly says, I'm a gamer. Doom. Okay, Chris Holly, are you talking about the old original Doom? Because I have that as well. Or are you talking about the new Doom? Because I was watching the new Doom that just come out, and that thing is intense. The new Doom Resurrection or whatever it's called, it is crazy. Warface is a game, Random Nomad. No, Doom Eternal. Yeah, that's the new Doom that come out, right? Yeah, that's not the old Doom. Like I started playing Doom back in like, I think the first time I ever played Doom was like maybe 1995, 96. You know, I can tell you exactly when it was. It was 1995 because Selena, the Tejano singer Selena, had just been killed when I was right around the same time I started playing Doom. I remember playing Doom and watching it on TV. Trav, man, you are something else, dude. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. If you didn't see Trav, man, it's not required, guys, but he just hit me with a super chat, and I always appreciate that. I mean, it's, you know, I like hitting my friends with the super chats, and I appreciate you guys hitting me with it. Christina Harper, what is up, girl? Good to see you. So Chris Holly, I'm gonna have to check out the Doom Eternal because I watched that last night. That was actually one of the games I was watching them playing on. The other one is Mixter, is the other streaming service, but I was watching them play the new Doom Eternal on Twitch last night, and it looked pretty badass. Wolfstein, is that a Wolfstein? Is that another? Is that another one? Another game? So there's another Call of Duty, I think, that just come out that looks pretty promising. But anyway, yeah, I just want to start gaming and streaming on Twitch. I want to do my YouTube thing as well. I won't stop doing this, but because this is a shorter, hour and a half stream, I do want to like game and stream over there. And it could be another, uh, it could be another source of income. And that's all I'm looking for is sources of income. Man, Detox 99, both of you guys. Thank you, Detox 99. Detox D. He just hit me with a 199. Thank you, buddy. So I have a thing for you guys. Let me get it set up here. I wasn't expecting anybody to hit me with a super chat, but let me set it up here because I do this little deal when people hit me with a super chat. Stick this right here. For some of you that haven't seen this, this is just a little thing I do. So if you hit me with a super chat, if you have anything that you would like to promote or anything, if you have a YouTube channel or if you have anything, a website or anything, let me know. And I will put it in the text overlay down here for you guys. And if you don't, then I just say, pipe. Let's see. There we go. And bam. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. Appreciate that. Especially in these times, guys. Believe me, I mean, everybody's worried about their money. So, you guys don't have to be sending me a super chat. We need to be saving all the money that we can. But I do appreciate it. I really, especially in these times, I really appreciate it. Is it who? Is everybody still working out there? I mean, or is everybody like me? I mean, I'm laid off. I have no income like right now. The only income I have is this income, which is I look forward for, the YouTube income. We get paid on the 21st. For those of you who don't know, I do make money off of YouTube. Not as much as I used to, but I still do make money off of it. So, what is anybody else are there any other gamers in the room? What else does people play? Chris Holly, Half-Life, new one is on VR on stream. I haven't done the VR. My computer's, I have like a Alienware, but I don't think it's quite powerful enough to do VR. It's got like it's got a GeForce 970 in it. I may like upgrade it to a 1060 at some time, but it's a small form computer, so PC, so you can't really put like the new 2060 in it or anything because those are too big. Says Random Nomad, you don't have PayPal, do you? Yes, I do have PayPal. I actually do. I don't have the link for it. I think it would be, try this. It would be this. Just my name. Let me see if that works. I can't even click on it. Yeah, I'm going to try to get this fixed at some point where you guys can actually see like what I'm doing. So it doesn't look so awkward. You just see me like looking at the computer because I have the big computer screen here in front of me and you guys don't see what I'm doing. So it's probably pretty weird for you guys, but I'm going to try to get it at one point. I have to get a capture card, and a capture card are like $100, $130, $40, the one I want. So when I get a capture card, that's how I'll be able to live stream on Twitch. The way I'm able to live stream here is I bought this software that kind of is a workaround, so you don't have to have a capture card. But at one point, when I get a capture card, I will be able to show you guys what I'm doing. So if I'm doing something, you can see my desktop. I got the right. Okay. So I can't remember my password to my PayPal. I always just use it on my phone. On my phone, I don't have to have a password, or I just use my thumb for my phone. Hold on a second here. Oop. Come on, that's it. That's not it. Oh my gosh. Oh, I was going to try to log into my PayPal, but evidently I'm not. I'll have to see what my password is. I forgot what my password is. That's a bad thing about having the auto passwords. It's because you forget what your freaking password is. But anyway, my PayPal is just Rav Holly. Oh, you know what? I have it in the description of my videos. The only reason I'm actually looking at this is because Paul Barger, actually, my buddy, the bread trucker, he actually all the time puts his PayPal link in his chat when he's doing a live stream. And I've never even really thought about it, but I could actually do that too. We just have to find the damn thing, but I do know that I have it. Yeah, there it is right there. Bam. Now we got it. So there's so whoever asked, there's the PayPal link right there. I just dropped it in the room. But yeah, See, Amy Preston says, I'm thinking about returning to work unless family needs me more. Daughter is a nurse and her husband is a cop. Hubby is a cop. They're both essential right now and have a baby for me to watch. You know what, Amy? Why go to work? I mean, I would just stay with them for right now. I mean, everybody's unemployed as it is. Detox D, you play on the PS4? Random Nomad, I got a PS4 and an Xbox 360. Ooh, nice console players. So for me, I have a Xbox. I have the Xbox S, and it's in my truck. I have an Xbox in my truck with 2 or 3 controllers. And when I bought it, I had this grand delusion that I would have people in my truck and we would all sit there and game. And that's never, not once happened. I thought it would probably happen at RTR, maybe not once. And I'm not a big console person, so I like to game on a computer. So once I bought the Xbox, it just made me Jones more to want to play the stuff I was playing on the Xbox to play it on a computer. So I invested in this Alienware computer I have here, and all I do is game. And I have a 34-inch, curved screen right here in front of me, and that's all that I play on. I haven't played on the Xbox in, gosh, probably 2 or 3 months. Christina Harper says, what is the weather like in Cali today? The weather is just absolutely beautiful, Christina Harper. It is, let's see what the weather is like in Cali today. It's a beautiful day and everybody's all cooped up. It is, says it's 60 degrees. It's 60 degrees and sunny in LA. It actually was a little chilly because I was going to come to the office and without the hoodie on, and I actually definitely got to put a hoodie on. And the other reason I have a hoodie on is because this shirt is so wrinkled. I need to go to the laundromat, but I'm paranoid about going to the laundromat and washing my clothes. Amy Preston, nursing skills are needed, but I need to put family first. Oh, you're a nurse, Amy? I didn't know you were a nurse. I know you were in the military and you were doing all kinds of biochemical weapon stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you're a nurse, I don't know. I mean, I would, oh man, Random Nomad, thank you so much, buddy. I do appreciate that. So Random Nomad said he sent me a PayPal. I totally really appreciate that, buddy. I'll have to log into my PayPal here. It usually gives me an alert when that happens, but don't see it. But anyway, I really do appreciate that. I think that's just a pay it forward thing because I actually sent Nomad and Broken one the other day through his watching his stream. Amy Present says, send some of that sunshine to Kansas. I miss the beach. Yeah. You know, the funny thing about living in California and living just the beach is right here. I don't go to the beach. I never go to the beach. I remember when I used to live in Texas, I used to think, oh man, could you imagine living in California where you could just go to the beach every day? I can't tell you the last time I even saw the beach. It was probably a year ago. I was probably working on a TV show and we were down shooting in Santa Monica. When it's just right here, you don't even pay any attention to it. Okay, so Amy Preston, you're a nursing assistant. Yeah, I would, if I were you, I would just, you know, your your daughter-in-law or your son. I mean, is it your daughter or your son-in-law? I think it's your daughter and your son-in-law. I would just, if she's a nurse and he's a cop, I mean, I would just stay and watch the baby right now. That's the best times. You know what I mean? Work is work. Now, don't get me wrong. I like to work, but missing out on those precious baby moments, that's stuff that, I mean, when you're old and sitting in an, you know, if we all live that long, if we all live past the Rona and we're all still alive here and, live to be our old age, you'll never be sitting in the old folks home thinking, man, I'm so glad I went back to work that time instead of taking care of the baby or watching the baby. Detox D says it's 54 in Yakima, Washington. You know, Detox D, I've never been to Washington State. I've been to every state in the United States, but Washington State, Oregon, Alaska, and Hawaii. I've got to get up there. Christina Harper says, do you have children, Rav? Yes, 2 boys. My oldest son passed away in 2010. But my kids are all grown years ago. My oldest son would have turned 31 on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. Hey, Random Nomad, good to have you back, buddy. So, who was it that sent me the PayPal? Was it Random Nomad? I would stick you up here in the ticker, but I don't know exactly what, it doesn't show me what I got on there. So I'll have to look at it, but I'll make it up to you, Random Nomad. I appreciate that. Oh, we got 12 people in the room. We got 9 thumbs up. I appreciate the thumbs up, guys. Leah Nort says, sorry for your loss. My oldest passed away last July. Yeah, that's a tough club for us to be in, Leah. How old was your oldest? I had 2 sons. I have 2 sons, Dustin and Patrick. Patrick was my oldest son, and he passed away in 2010. He was 36. Yeah, my oldest son was 21 when he passed away. He'll be 21 forever. Yeah, that's a tough club. I'm sorry. Sorry for your loss, Leah. That's a tough club to be in. I don't wish that on anyone. It's not the cycle of life. It throws off the cycle of life. You're not supposed to lose your kids. Travman says a lot of people passing right now. Yes, I agree, Travman. You're very right, buddy. That's very sad. And the funny thing about, like when you've had a death of like one of your kids or something like that, like I have, like Leah Nortz has, you really pay attention when other people lose people, or when, it really gets to me when I know other people that have lost people. Like one of my other friends, like his daughter died in a car wreck, and I think she was maybe 19 or 20, and she died in a car wreck a couple of years ago. But man, when that happened, he was just venting or just pouring his heart out on his Facebook of, his feelings and stuff, and all that raw emotion, man. It just brought all the stuff that I went through. It just brings it right back to you. Yeah. Random Nomad says parents shouldn't outlive their kids. Exactly right. Leah Nort said he was in Ridgecrest during the quake, the big California quake back in the day, the one that happened out in the valley. Ridgecrest. Christina Harper says, I had 1 stillborn and 6 miscarriages. Man, that had to have been tough on you, Christina. So you have 1 child, Christina? Yeah, July the 4th. Yep. I remember the quake, Leah. Nomad Unbroken says, on the bright side, I've been out of my body and I know what that's like. Oh, you've had a near-death experience, Nomad Unbroken. Or was that just good LSD that you were snorting or doing? Christina Harper says, no, none living. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Christina. So you've tried and just had no luck with that one. That's pretty heart-wrenching, because I feel like everybody that wants to be a parent should get to be a parent. And Matt Brogan says, I was sober. Okay. So was it so not to go into, or, be too nosy, Nomad and Broken, but was it a car accident, or, like what happened? How did you end up going out of your body and seeing the other side? Did your life flash before your eyes? Did you see the light at the end of the tunnel? because I've had a couple of close calls. One time on a Harley way back in the day, and I didn't have my life flash before my eyes or anything. Christina Harper said, "Not God's will for me, and I'm okay with that." Yeah, everything happens for a reason, I believe. Chris Holly says, "Okay, great to see you. I'm off to bed now, Rav. Speak next time, 12 a.m. here. Keep safe, my friend." Mr. Chris Holly, thank you so much for stopping in, brother. I forget it's so late over there across the pond. Stay safe. Take care of yourself. Uh, thanks again, Chris, for stopping in. Yeah, where in Kansas are you at, Amy? My cousin that I grew up with, he's in Kansas. I don't think he's in Wichita though. Where is James at? My other cousin, his older brother, they're both in the meat industry, the meat packing industry. So there's some big meat packing plants in Kansas. My uncle, their dad, used to be the foreman at Missouri Beef Packing Plant that was actually in Plainview, Texas. And then they named it MBPXL because it merged with someone. But there's a big meat packing plants in Kansas. And I'm not crazy familiar with Kansas, but I've been through Kansas a bunch of times. So he is, oh no, he's moved to, okay, my cousin moved. He's not in Kansas anymore. He's in Greeley, Colorado. But I think he's still working for the same big meat packing plant. Lee Nort's Denver here. Where's Neely, Colorado at? That's where my cousin's living now. Or Greeley, Colorado, Greeley. I've never been there. Been to Denver. Amy Preston says, I used to live in Wichita, but my daughter is in the tiny town of Salina. Is it Salina or Salina? Yeah, I've been through there, I believe. I used to go to, so I used to leave Dallas. When I lived in Dallas, I would go up through Wichita, Kansas, and up through Kansas. And then I would go over to Colorado, and then I'd hit Colorado, and I'd take, I think, 75 all the way up through Colorado to Cheyenne, Wyoming. I'd go to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and then I'd jet over to Laramie, Wyoming, and then I'd come back over, and I'd drive all the way up to Casper, Wyoming. And then I'd go up all the way up to Billings, Montana, and Bozeman, and then end up in Helena. Yeah, back in the day. Christina Harper says it's out by Denver. Leah Nort, you were in the Air Force for 32 years, the AF. Says, okay, I was in the. Yeah, Amy, you were in the Army. So, Leah, you were in the Air Force. Random Nomad said I stayed at a KOA there. So, Leah Nort's Greeley is north of Denver, 60 miles east of Fort Collins, 25 miles. Okay. So it's not very far off 75 then, because isn't it 75 that goes straight out of Denver north, like going up to Cheyenne, Wyoming? Yeah, okay. I went to Fort Collins. Yeah, I can't remember. I just used to go straight up I'd go straight up through Denver and then straight up north into Cheyenne, Wyoming. I'd go past the Little Bighorn. I've stopped at the Little Bighorn, and like where the Little Bighorn is in Wyoming, you're way out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, in the middle of nowhere. And there is a mountain range over to the left. And I'll never forget, because when you drive through there, you'll see this mountain range. You'll get to this mountain range, and it looks like you'll drive around this mountain range like any other mountain range. Like you'll be around it, in like 10 minutes. And it takes you all day to get around that mountain range, which is, I guess, is the Rocky Mountains. but you'll spend 8 hours driving, and that mountain range is still right there to the left of you. You'll drive all the way from, like, Cheyenne, Wyoming, once you get up there where the Little Bighorn is, all the way up into Montana, I think to Billings. And when you get to Billings, you get away from that mountain range, but it'll be there all day. So you feel like you're going nowhere. It's one of the most miserable roads I've ever driven because it's beautiful. It's nice. It's like this flat prairie land, just this flat prairie land with this grass, this yellow wheat looking grass out to the right. But then to the left is this huge mountain range, and you just feel like you're literally going nowhere. You just feel like you're sitting right in the same place. It's insane. Just every now and then you see that you've just inched a little bit further across the mountain range. You're like here, then you're like here, and then 2 or 3 hours later, you're like here, and then you're here. Then it starts getting dark, and you're here, and then finally you get around that mountain range. Fort Collins, Colorado, and Cheyenne, Wyoming are like 45 minutes apart. Is that? Okay. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've driven that, but I used to drive it back in probably the last time I drove that from Dallas. I went straight up through Oklahoma and then through Kansas and then jetted back. Sometimes I would go over to Albuquerque, New Mexico and go the Panhandle, Texas way when I was going up to Wyoming and Montana. Christina Harper says, I'd love to be able to travel again. Wish I could get the money up for an RV. I got one for sale, Christina. Red Lodge Mountain over the Beartooth Pass was cool. I want to go back out in my Toyota. Yep. That your little Toyota Sunraider, or what do you have? Every time I see a Toyota motorhome, I always just think it's a Dolphin, but there's different ones. The Sunraider is the 4-wheel drive, I believe. We got 11 people in the room and we got 9 thumbs up. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. So this freaking my live streaming software, it's got all of this stuff. I actually need to figure it all out because it's like got all of this like crazy. So it's got all this stuff that I don't even know how to use, which is, I guess most of it's just kind of silly though. But there's a deal on here where you can show like your desktop. I wonder if I could figure that out really quick without knocking the stream out. Let's see, Red Lodge Mountain over the Big Bear Path. I want to go back to my Toyota. It's a Sea Breeze. That's right, Random Nomad. Christina Harper, yes, but I can't get 10,000. Wish I had it. Random Nomad, Sun Raiders are 2-wheel drive or 4x4. Yeah, I like the Toyota, the 4x4 ones. Yeah, Christina, I've come down a little bit on the price of Bertha. She's down to 8,500 now. So if you can come up with 8,500 or get close to that, I would probably make you a deal. The main thing is I need to get more proactive on trying to sell Bertha, and I just haven't done it. Detox D says propane heater or diesel heater, or what do you prefer? I have only ever had propane heaters. In my rig Bertha, I have a propane heater, and in my Snap-on truck now I have a propane heater. Get a diesel heater. Diesel heater all the way. It's so much more efficient. It doesn't have moisture when it burns, when it heats. It's a dry heat. Diesel all the way. Just get one of those little China diesel heaters. You'll be so happy you did. I know, I don't know if Amba Life is still in the room. I think they might have left, but Amba Life just installed the diesel heater, I believe, in their ambulance. Diesel heater all the way. Any one of those little China diesel heaters. I hate China, but their diesel heaters are great. Devin McDetrick Buffet. What's up, Devin? You're not Devin from Amba Life, right, Devin? I don't even know what you guys' last name is. I just call you Amba Life. Says Amy Preston says, yeah, my Suburban has over 270,000 miles and is sitting in front of the garage crying. Missed the road. Yeah. What do you have in that Suburban though, is engine wise? I know those old Suburbans had the big 454 in there. You can get that thing around the block without burning up like a half a tank of gas. Yeah, just keep saving, Amy. I mean, even if you don't get Bertha, you get a 2 or 3 more thousand together there. There's a lot of rigs out there that are in really good shape that you could get. It does not collect extreme temperatures, but runs great. Same gas mileage as the new ones. Okay. It must have a 350 in it then. Oh yeah, it's a 350. Yeah, that's a good engine. If it's fuel injected with all the new stuff, it's they get pretty decent mileage, like 14, I guess, 14, 15, which is really not that good when you consider my big ass Snap-on truck gets 12 miles per gallon. It's a 1500 with a 4x4. Yeah, I used to be so back in like the late 90s, I guess. When was this? I had it was a Blazer. It was the last year that they did the Blazer, that GM did the Blazer before they came out with a Tahoe. So it looked just like a Tahoe. It was the same as the Tahoe came out the next year. It was the same exact truck, but it was called, it was a 94, I believe. It was a 94 4x4 2-door sport edition Blazer. And cool little, 4x4 truck. And then I drove that for a couple of years, and then I traded it off for a brand new 97 4x4 GMC Yukon Denali. And that thing was the biggest. It was beautiful. It was very comfortable to ride in. I drove it all over the country, but it was a piece of junk. Had more problems out of that truck. And I ended up getting a Land Rover, a 95 Land Rover Discovery 1, called a D1. And that thing I ended up having some mechanical problems with it, but that thing was amazing. I love that truck. I love that truck so much that I ended up getting another truck, which in 2001, which was a 2000 Land Rover Discovery 2, which was the longer version. So I'm a Land Rover nut. Not too crazy about GM. I'm not too crazy about GM Blazers or Yukons. Yes, a disco, random nomad. That's exactly right. I'm disco crazy. Discovery. I love Land Rover Discoveries. And the funny thing is if anybody is going to be a nomad, here's some great advice for you. If you have vehicles and you move into an RV, if you're not going to use your vehicle as a tow vehicle, get rid of it. Because what I'd done with my Disco, my 2001 Land Rover Discovery, what I did with it was I ended up putting it in storage. It ended up getting damn near destroyed in the storage. They had a flood out there. It got flooded. Somebody came up and cut the gas, where your gas cap is. There's that hose that goes down the neck. Somebody crawled under there and cut it to try to siphon gas out of it. It had no gas in it. So all kinds of damage. And I ended up, about a month and a half ago, I just gave it away. I have a friend of mine that he was going to put in the time to fix it. So I just gave it to him. Didn't charge him a dime for it. Just give it to him. And it was a really nice truck. Dual sunroofs, tan leather interior. He's driving it around. He fixed it. He's driving it all everywhere. Leah Nort says the Broncos were cool. Yes, I do like the old Broncos. I like the old Broncos. I'm not too big on the filler neck, random nomad. The filler neck. Somebody cut the filler neck. And Joshua Tree Mini Storage. If anybody wants to send them a hate mail, don't ever. Sorry, guys, the freight train's going by. I don't know if you can hear it. Don't ever store your stuff with Joshua Tree Mini Storage. The absolute worst storage nightmare I've ever had in my life. Christina Harper says, I lived in a semi for months at a time, so I'd be okay in an RV. won't I? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The thing, the thing with people, they always freak out about living in an RV. And the thing about it is people are, you're very adaptable. The freight train just went by. Hopefully you guys can't hear it too much. It was literally rattling the whole building. But people, I mean, we're as humans are very adaptable. So when I moved out of my house, I remember being in the RV for like the first, I remember getting out of my house and being in the RV. I'm out of my house now. I'm in the RV. And I was just sitting there looking around and I was like, because you're thinking like, oh, it's going to be so cool. You're thinking that that's what you're thinking at first. And I remember getting in there and being out of the house and completely out of the house, gone from the house first night. And I pull in and I'm just sitting there in the RV and I'm like, that surreal feeling comes in. And I was like, man, this is really small. I don't know. And you have that little moment of doubt. And then after probably a week, I was already completely accustomed to being in the RV and it didn't feel any much different than my house. It's weird. Yeah, Nomad Unbroken is actually in a van. He's in actually a van lifer. So RV for like my RV Bertha would be a lot of room for Nomad Unbroken because he's in just like a little conversion van, right? Nomad Unbroken. Random Nomads is Joshua Tree an actual city? Yes, it is an actual city. It is a very, very tiny little city, but is it? It's not a city. It's a town. It's a little tiny town. Like literally, when you are coming down 62, which they call it's Highway 62. Uh, it takes you not even 5 minutes to get through the town of Joshua Tree. Yeah, random Nomad, you're in a 95 Econoline. Is it a long wheelbase like the 2500 or is it a short wheelbase? Just a regular short Econoline van? So if it's a Econoline, that's not a conversion van then. That's just like a cargo van, like a work van. Yeah, not even extended. Oof. I mean, I could do it. You can do it. So my Snap-on truck right now, I'm kind of in the same boat you are, Random Nomad, because uh I ended up having to get my Harley Davidson from the shop before I actually was able to get it fixed. I put it in the shop to get it fixed. And then well, let's dive into that story. So I had somebody that was going to buy Bertha and they were going to buy Bertha and then come to find out they didn't have all the money to buy Bertha, but they said they were going to buy Bertha and was giving me the smoke and mirror game. So I thought Bertha was sold. So I put my Harley Davidson in the shop to have some work done on it and to get it fixed and back up and running because I was going to have plenty of money to get it fixed in the shop because this guy was buying Bertha. And then when he comes to actually get Bertha, he doesn't have all the money. He's he's short, like quite a bit short. And that and I actually probably would have worked with him, but just the manipulation part of that to telling me that he was going to buy Bertha and then coming to get Bertha and to pay for Bertha and then tells me he doesn't have all the money did not set well with me. So then I was not even going to I wasn't even going to barter with him. The truth is, I probably would have sold him Bertha for what he had if he had not lied or if he had not been manipulative about it. But anyway, long story short, I'd already put my motorcycle in the shop when this guy committed to buy Bertha and was coming to get Bertha. Now that was stupid on my part, but I didn't have any place to put my motorcycle and it was in storage as well. So I was carrying it around in the back of my Snap-on truck and which leaves me literally no room. So I ended up taking my Harley and putting it in the shop. And then the guy didn't get Bertha. So my Harley sat in the shop for 2 months and I ended up having to pay $200 for storage fees. And I had to go get my motorcycle. And the day before I was going to get my Harley, the drunk driver ran into the back of my Snap-on truck and screwed up the lift gate. So I had to go get the motorcycle and we ended up basically, we couldn't get it up on the ramp because the lift gate won't come down. it'll go up, but it won't come down. So there was no way to get the Harley up on the lift gate. So it was me and just the mechanic. And I ended up pulling my Snap-on truck out to the street, and there was a big enough dip that it let the lift gate down close enough to the ground that we were able to get the Harley up on the lift gate and get it raised up and then get it in my truck. But it's still in my truck. I've been carrying it around now for a month in my truck. I don't have any place to put my Harley either. So these are the things that so my advice to you, which I didn't do, is if you're going to get on the road as a nomad, sell all your other vehicles. Just get rid of them. Because if you think, oh, I'll just keep them because maybe I don't want to be a nomad for that long, and then when I'm not a nomad, I'll have my vehicles. I won't have to buy any more because they'll be there. Yeah, don't do it. Just sell them. Get rid of them. Because I put my Land Rover in storage and I put my Harley in storage. Big mistake. I spent thousands of dollars in storage fees over 3-4 years. The storage was $150 a month. So $150 a month for 3.5-4 years. And then, yeah. And then I just give the Land Rover away. And now the Harley's riding around on the back of my Snap-on truck, and my lift gate is broke. So I can't even get the Harley out of my truck. Nomad and Broken says, sorry, yeah, it's a conversion. I got rid of the seats. Oh, it is a conversion. So you took did it have the captain's chairs, the cool captain's chairs in the back and stuff? Yeah, but I really want to get that Harley out of the back of my Snap-on truck at some point, so I have a little bit more room in there, because it's a big Harley Davidson. It's not like a Sportster. It's a freaking Heritage Softail Classic. It's a big Harley. So I literally just have my office. So even to get to my clothes, because I have drawers that go all the way down, and I have my t-shirts and my underwear and my socks, I can't even get to my drawers, the drawers to get my stuff out, because the Harley's in the way. So guys, we've been going here an hour and 56. So I'm going to probably cut this off right here about 2 hours. We're going to go 2 hours today since we started early. It says Dan knows the van. Who's Dan? Oh, Blue Van Dan has an O'Connell line. Yeah. He knows that van inside and out. Will probably be buried with it. So Nomad, you had the folding bench seat. So you had the folding bench seat in the very back. So is that what you made your bed out of? Is the folding bench seat in the back? Because the conversions, they usually have that folding bench seat in the very back, and then they have 2 captain's chairs in front of that. Christina Harper says, still waiting on Nomad News. Yeah, I've almost given up on Nomad News, Christina Harper. I've just burned out on editing. I have all these videos, like even when my friend's Amba Life was here, I did a little video, and I just did it on my phone because I didn't have my camera, wasn't working at the time. So I just did it on my phone, and still I haven't even edited that and put it together. I'm very burnt out on editing, and especially doing this live streaming. If I could get the live streaming up on Twitch, I would never do any more videos again. It's just, there's no real money in YouTube unless you're doing really well on YouTube. Does that make sense? And it's a lot of work. Like this here, if I don't make any money doing a live stream, I don't even think about it, but if I do, I made like $4 off the 2 super chats. That's as much or more than a lot of videos that I make. And those videos will take me 12 hours to put together. I mean, 4 or 5 hours editing, a couple of hours of going through and finding stories and Nomad stuff to report on. And then once I find it, if I decide to download one of their videos, I have to download their video, cut it up, and then put it together. And then I ended up I'll end up filming my portion of the Nomad News where I'm talking to the camera, and then talking about the stories and stuff like that, and then that all has to be edited together. The I end up I record all of the audio separately, so it can take me, I can start doing a video around, let's say, what time is it right now? If I started a Nomad News, it's 5:30. So let's say I'm going to end this right here in like a couple of minutes. So if I end right now and start putting a Nomad News episode together, right as soon as I end this live stream, let's say I jump right on it. So I will finish it about 5:30, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'll upload it. And that's working nonstop from right now, 5:30 p.m. until 5:30 a.m. And then I load that video and it gets 100 views. And you're like, why? Why would I do this? Am I out of my mind? I must be out of my freaking mind. But for the people that are, that like Nomadic Fanatic, even my buddy Paul Barger Bread Trucker. I mean, if you're doing, so let's look at it like this. If you do a video and you get, let's say you get 30,000 views off of that video. If you get like 30,000 views off the video, you're going to make probably about $100 off of that. Anywhere from like 80 to 120 bucks. You're going to make somewhere off of that if you get 30,000 views on a video. To me, that's worth it. I would do it. It's worth sitting there 12 hours to put a video together. But if I put a video together, like, let's look at my, let me go back to Nomad. Let me go to Nomad News. Let's look at a video. So let's see. Okay, so here we go. So Van Life Hit and Run. I did that one 2 months ago. It has 556 views. I'm going to click on it and I'll tell you guys exactly how much money I've made on that. And it took me a good 12 hours to put that video together. So let me go to the analytics here. Give me a second. Where's the analytics at?
VA loans are arguably the most powerful mortgage product on the market. Here,
I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Well, let me just look at it on my phone. I can bring it up on my phone quicker. So this will just give you guys an idea. I know you guys, like when I was at RTR, I had so many people coming up to me asking me when I was going to be releasing another episode of Nomad News. And this is where I'm at with it right now. So so my last video on Nomad News was, can't see, was Van Life Nomad Hit and Run. And let's look at the analytics. Okay, so Nomad Van Life Hit and Run, my estimated revenue is 11 cents. So I made 11 cents off of 12 hours work on that video. It's had 576 views. Now, I'm not doing this. I do this because it's a hobby. I'm not going to lie. I do this because it's a hobby. So I'm not money hungry with it. Yeah, Nomad and Broken, no. Not $10. I made 11 cents off of that last video. But if you get a video that's got about 30,000 views, like a Nomadic Fanatic, I mean, he was, I don't know where he's at right now, but if you can hit a video where you're at 30,000 views, you'll make enough money off of that 30,000 view video. You'll make 60, 70 bucks. So if you do one of those a day, you're doing okay. But for sitting there for 12 hours, editing a video for 12 hours and getting 576 views on it and making 11 cents, I mean, it's really stupid is what it is. And I love doing YouTube. I love doing the videos. I don't mind doing the editing if there's some kind of like monetary gain to where it makes it feel like it's worth it. Now, so let's go through, but I can tell you on another video that I did, which is the Camper Van Kevin video, which was all of the drama, right? Let me look this up real quick. So there's another video. And then here's another video there was nothing wrong with it. And I just noticed it's been demonetized. So I put the van held hostage. Chelsea Vicari goes non-nomad, which with a witch house. So I just find out that's been demonetized. And I don't even know why. I just see it's got a yellow demonetization there. I didn't even realize that. So YouTube's went through there for some reason, demonetized the video, and it has nothing in it to be demonetized for, which means you make no money off of it. None. That means they take all your money away from it. So one of my most popular videos that I made, let's see. So I got 17,000 views on this camper van Kevin versus van life Sheldons. That's been my most popular, that was my most popular Nomad News episode. And with that being said, the only reason it was so popular was because of all the drama that was going on between camper van Kevin at the time and van life Sheldon's travels. And I just I knew that was what was going to happen. And I was just kind of seeing if I was going to be right on that. And I'm not really into the drama. And it was actually kind of disappointing that that's where that went, because I was basically just trolling with that video to see like if this was what would really get the news channel up and really running. And sure enough, that's exactly what everybody wanted to see, was that video, that drama video. So 17,000 views on that video. And camper van Kevin versus van life Sheldons. And then the very next video I did, which was another kind of a drama one, but it only had 4,000 views. And then I put Paul Barger's first police stop, Nomad stop by the police. It only got 5,000 views. But anyway, we'll go back to the camper van Kevin one, because I've made more money off of that one than I have any of them. And I've made $84.34. But that video is done very well because it's a longer video. So if they all would do 17,000 views, I mean, I would stay with it. I would really probably stay with it. But the problem is they don't. Let's see. So I've made $32 in YouTube revenue from Nomad News this month, with over 100 videos on there. Now, if I was updating, every time that you put a video up, it brings traffic to your channel and you make more money. So that's the lowest that I've had so far with Nomad News. And I need to get back on it, especially since I'm not doing anything else. But the problem with editing is when you're in the groove and you're editing and you're shooting all the time, you're in this flow and it just flows along and you can just do it. You can just do it. But if you stop, you get into like this funk, and then everything doesn't seem to be organized, and it just seems like this huge task to take on to get it running and to get it flowing again. But once you get it going, you're good. It's just getting over that hump to get started back doing it again. And I'll go out and I will film an entire video. This is the crazy thing. I'll go out and film an entire video, have it all ready to go, and then never edit it. I don't know how many videos I have on my camera. My camera is setting, my vlogging camera is right there, or my Nomad News camera is right over there. And I've probably got 10 videos on there that have never been edited. I don't even remember what they are now. That's the other thing, is my memory is so bad now as I age, I guess, is I can shoot something, and if I don't shoot it and then edit it and get it up right away, I don't even remember half the crap that I do. And when you're doing the filming and you're doing the filming, the drone footage sometimes, and then you're recording the audio separately, if you don't keep all of that stuff together, you forget, well, where did I put the audio for that video? Or what did I do this? And so, yeah, I know I'm making all kinds of excuses, but I just kind of want some of you guys that are fans of my Nomad News, just to kind of see where my headspace is on that. I will say, if I find out I'm not going to have to be out of here like right at the first in 4 or 5 days, I really do want to get back on the Nomad News thing though, because I do want to get a paycheck from YouTube, because I usually get a paycheck every month from YouTube, And because of the Nomad News thing dying out, I probably won't get a check from you from YouTube. The first time when I really need one. I usually get one every month and I don't even really think about it because it's not very much money when you're working. But when you're not working, every little bit helps. You know what I mean? So it's just, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. Leah Nort says lots of DIYers get lots of views on and subscribers. Yes. And if I was any good at that, I would definitely do it. I would definitely do it. Yeah, you're right. Nomad Unbroken. Yellow. The yellow icon is for the dollar thing is limited views. So for some reason, I don't know if there's no soundtrack in that or something, but yeah, the gray one is completely demonetized. Random Nomad, that's when I go back to work the first. But on the other flip side of that, if you can stay with YouTube, and keep doing it, oh, I think we locked up. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah, we're all, you guys can hear me good. We're all froze up here. So I guess my camera or computer or something froze up. So we're at 2 hours and 10 minutes in. So we're going to go ahead and close it out. Yeah, the screen froze up, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now. I know you can hear me, but you can't see me. It's all froze up. So we're going to go ahead and kill it now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I'll probably streaming again tomorrow or Saturday and trying to get in some good streams before I lose my studio. Can you see it now, guys? I don't know if it's it shows it's still locked up here. Can you see me? But anyway, we're going to end it, guys. Good night. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you didn't hit that, if you didn't smash that thumbs up button, I'd appreciate you smash that thumbs up button before you leave. Anyway, guys, thank you so much again for tuning in, and we will see you next stream. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Hey, be safe out there, guys. Practice social distancing and take care of yourselves. Be safe.